Sorry about that, Sean. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Frank. How are you? And thanks to everybody for coming. So how's it going, brother?
It's going fantastic, man. Going fantastic.
Right.
I'm looking forward to swimming with the sharks this weekend.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. So how far are we into these fine folks introducing?
We just basically started. I gave a fun fact about myself, and Siobhan went. Robert introduced and queued everything up and said, "Look, we got 30 seconds, so we're going fast." You want to go next, Sean?
You know what? I'll go. Let's let our guests go.
Okay. All right, Jane, you're up. 30 seconds and a fun fact. Where are you from?
Sure. So my name is Jane Powell. I'm also in Tampa, Florida. I work as a sales consultant. I help companies with how of generating more revenue. I use the Sales QB framework and the path to guaranteed growth to help them with creating their sales and marketing plans. And a fun fact about me is that I grew up on a tiny farm in Oxford, North Carolina, in a town of less than 5,000 people.
Wow. That's fantastic. Fantastic. I've known Jane for quite a while. She's part of the Tony Robbins organization. So yeah, welcome today, Jane. Next person I want to introduce is going to be one of our judges. His name's Howie Newton. Howie, you want to pop in there, take the mute off? Yep.
Hey, thanks, Frank. I'm Howie Newton, and I live in Massachusetts in the summer and Florida, Vero Beach, Florida in the winter. So I'm a snowbird. And I retired from corporate America about 3 years ago and was in the process of checking off everything off my bucket list. And now I've kind of settled in and trying to help and coach people the best that I can, and getting trained in being able to do that more from a certified standpoint.
Awesome.
Little known fact is I was training for marathon, and I was traveling a lot in corporate America, and I was in Las Vegas, and I got hit by a car. And so what I learned from that is, you go to Las Vegas, don't do anything healthy. Gamble and party.
Stay off the street. Exactly. And you're from Massachusetts, which makes you wicked smart. All right. Thanks, Howard. All right. Next up is Bert Carrier. Bert, can you unmute yourself? Tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself, and a fun fact.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Bert Carrier. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida right now. I'm an attorney. Right now, I'm a general counsel for a small defense contractor out of Washington, D.C. We do a lot of government contracting. I do a lot of team agreements, a lot of FAR work, things like that. In my private practice, I advise business startups. I do a little bit of tax defense, and I do estate planning. So a fun fact about me, I've had a lot of different careers in my life. And one of the more interesting ones was I used to fly helicopters in the Marine Corps. I did that for about 10 years.
Awesome.
Bert, thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mirror that, Bert. Thanks for your service. Moving on, John Puntney. Tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself, and a fun fact.
Let's see. So I'm John Puntney, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. And currently, for my day job, I do supply chain for a subcontractor in the semiconductor industry, and also working on launching a new hustle for involving the sport disc golf. And fun fact, when I was in college, I arranged and did some business meetings in Vietnam for spring break senior year to help a classmate with his business idea for a FERPA compliant open source version of Dropbox for college campuses.
You invented Dropbox, basically.
But I wish.
Timing, man. Timing's everything. Timing's everything. Wow. Well, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you here. Okay, next up, I have as a contestant today, my good friend Tom Stanton. Tom, want to drop in here, tell us about yourself, a little fun fact, and where you're from.
Good morning, guys. Thomas Stanton. I'm in a apparently it feels like a Florida bar meeting with all the attorneys. I am an attorney. I own a small firm called Stanton IP Law Firm. We do patents, trademarks, and copyrights. We're located in downtown Tampa. We have 4 attorneys, about 11 total people. I grew up in Montana, A fun fact is that I just found out I'm the first contestant on this show today.
Mr. Orange,
Couldn't be any better, brother.
But the only other thing, when I was in, I did my second year law school in Toulouse, France, and I traveled to about 22 countries while I was over there in Europe, and had a lot of fun doing it. I wanted to do something unique while I was over there, and I don't know if it was the wine or what, but I decided to buy this ridiculous Batman costume in Paris, and I proceeded to take these random pictures in all of these relics throughout Europe and wonders of the world and stuff with this ridiculous Batman costume on, and I posted on Facebook under Bat Tom. So that was quite a kick for about a year.
Tom, that is like, you should just stop there, because that is the award-winning story of all time on The Real Raw. And this is like episode 135, dude. That is absolutely awesome. And this, by the way, is named the Bat Phone in my whole like Alexa, Verizon, Apple device world. So that is awesome.
John's a fan of superheroes, cartoon or otherwise.
That is
And Tom was Bat Tom. I mean, it's funny. You go on his actual website, you'll see him sneaking around all around Europe with this little Batman mask on.
That is extraordinary. That is extraordinary.
Thanks, Tom, for being here.
Yeah,
Thanks for being okay with just short notice. Next up, we have our next contestant, Mariana Stevenson. Mariana, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and a super
Hi, everyone. I'm originally from Caracas, Venezuela, but I've been in the United States almost 40 years. I'm in Tampa, Florida now. I helped plastic surgeons for many years develop their cosmetic practice, but now I've owned a medical spa for 16 years. And a fun fact, I'm going to do two clashings. I played classical violin for about 14 years, and I've gotten over 30 speeding tickets. So, so that's a fun fact.
Have you ever got a speeding ticket while playing the violin?
You know, I had the violin in the car, but no, not playing at the same time. That would have been exciting.
Frank, this is an amazing crew.
Isn't it, Sean? A note to self, Uber from now on.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I have.
We'll not get in the car with you, Mariana. Thank you very much.
Unless you're late for something.
Unless I'm late.
Exactly.
Then I need to get there on time. Exactly. Mariana, thank you. Next up will be one of our judges, Mike Adams. Mike, have you here today? And quick fun fact, where you from? And what do you do? What's your excellence factor? Talk to us about yourself. You're muted, buddy.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'm a general contractor by trade. Also have a electrical outlet, which we hold a patent on for specialized applications. And fun fact about me is that I'm one of the few original Floridians, born and raised here, and I live in Sarasota.
Original Floridian here too. What?
What's up, Mike, by the way? How are you?
Absolutely wonderful, Sean. Great to see you this morning or afternoon now. Wow.
Rock and rolling.
The day just flying, man. Day just flying. And moving along. Next up, we have Terry Watkins and Kermit the Frog. As you can see her sitting next to her. Terry, welcome to the Real Raw Orange. And tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what do you do?
Thanks so much for having me, Frank. It's a pleasure to meet everybody. I'm Terry Watkins, your chief idea catcher at Spin Frogs. That's the name of my company that I designed 3 years ago in June. And since I've started, I've been able to help several hundred businesses achieve over 6 figures in revenue, growing their revenue anywhere from 10 to 1,200% in just 1 year with effective marketing strategy. I love helping businesses grow because I love creating win-win-win-win-win scenarios. And that's what it's all about. Fun fact about me, I'm originally from Rochester, New York, and moved to North Carolina for college, and they can't get rid of me. I'm like rooted here. So they tried, but I won't go home.
You guys feel, Terry, like your energy is received. That was a fantastic job of introducing yourself. Awesome.
Thanks, Terry. Yeah, thanks, Terry. It was beautiful. Two left we have here today. The next person I'd like to introduce is Daniel Gray. Daniel, by the way, I met Daniel through Jamie on this. And here's a little fun fact I'm just going to throw in there. One of my good friends in London is named Dan Gray. And I've never met this Dan Gray ever. This is the first time I'm actually seeing him. But yet, Dan Gray's birthday in London was on the exact same day as this Dan Gray called me. And so how serendipitous is that in my calendar, I was supposed to talk to a Dan Gray, and here you are, Dan. So welcome to the Real Raw Orange. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do and a quick fun fact.
I love it. Thank you very much. My name is Daniel Gray. My company is Exotic Mobile Marketing. I take supercars, sell every single square inch by the month, and help people build their brands and businesses with something like I like to refer to as forced marketing. There's a lot of pictures and videos of the car every day, so we love that. Fun fact, I've been an inline speed skater my entire life. I've won the Disney Marathon 3 times.
Wow.
And it's my absolute favorite thing to do to stay in shape.
Wow. Bro, what was your time in the Disney Marathon, your best time?
We do 26.1 mile in an hour and 8 minutes.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That's
sick.
fast.
So fastest speed, right around 32, 33 miles an hour.
Very cool.
That's wild. That's wild. That's dangerous. Next up, and last but not least, we have the beautiful Jamie Hirsch. Jamie, thanks for being on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, fun fact, and what you do.
Thank you. My name is Jamie. I was born in Trinidad. Right now, I am in the Miami Lakes area. I am an author for 3 great, amazing bestseller books, and I'm also a relationship master known to get over a breakup in 24 hours or less.
Whoa.
Fun fact about me is I've been in the MTV show Yo Mama. So if you've ever seen yeah. So yeah. That's
All right,
about
Jamie, I have to ask this, right? So the 24-hour breakup process, I love it. Amazing introduction. Again, your energy is received. What's your recommendation? Like my mom went through a divorce with my stepfather a number of years ago, and there was some interesting feedback she got. So I'm curious in your expert perspective. How long do you think that people should wait? Like, is there a standard, a formula thing when they come out of a relationship until they start dating again? Any thoughts on that?
What was your name again?
My name is Sean.
Sean, great question, right? So it really depends because we all have programs and we all have belief systems. So it's really, I cannot say it's going to be a week for someone versus 24 hours versus, however, I have a system, it's just called a breakthrough system that shows you exactly how to do it in 24 hours.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Jamie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. I think we've met everybody except yourself, Sean. Saving the best for last, brother.
No way. So listen, first of all, I want to acknowledge you, Frank Clark. Thanks for doing this, Mr. Orange. My first encounter with Frank Orange, Mr. Clark, was at a Tony Robbins event where the dude took over the room. If anybody ever seen him there, it was a remarkable, dynamic presentation of orange energy in front of everybody at Date with Destiny. So Frank, your energy is present. Your entrepreneurship and business brilliance is received, my friend.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was a fun event. I actually get to do it twice too. So really cool. Looking forward to doing it again, maybe.
That is awesome. So my name is Sean Callaghy. My quick fun fact is I'm a blind guy that trained a blind guy to surf a couple weeks ago. And then this past Saturday, because of Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership and the Lions, unbeknownst to me, I woke up not expecting to be on an airplane and actually jumped out of one a few hours later, which I didn't intend to do either. So that was my quick fun fact. What do I do in the world? My side hustle is I own a 125-person law firm, and I'm one of only 2 attorneys in the country to have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 16, and I was the only one who was legally blind. But my day job and night job and weekend job is I'm the co-founder of Unblinded, the creator of this show, and super fired up to have everybody here. And what I stand for in the world is that simple, fun, and magical micro distinctions and frictionlessness, free or exponential abundance in the world, rooted in integrity-based, heart-centered influence, which is what we're doing here today. So, Frank, are you ready, brother?
I think I'm ready. Yeah. I think we have a video that's ready. I'm winging here. Yeah. Miles, are you available here to jump in and help me out?
You have absolute certainty on how
here we go.
Hello to yes on what you're looking for. I watch people get stuck and frozen, and that breaks breaks my heart. I was once stuck in Frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people.
All right, everyone, let's get ready to rock. Let's do it. I think we're all excited. We're pumped. Sean, thank you for being here. Let's jump in, Mr. Orange.
All right. Thanks. And that was a cool little video. It's the first time I've seen that. That's awesome.
I don't know who that guy is, Frank. You know, in the video, I know that's Robert Fulton. I know the guy in the video was, but ready to go.
The guy in the video, I think, is you there, Sean.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, let's get going. So in this particular round, Tom Stanton and Mariana are going to be our contestants. And Jane, if you wouldn't mind being our role player. And Siobhan, Howie, Bert, and John, I'm going to have you guys be our first round judges. All right, I'm trying to get everybody a roll at this. All right, Tom, normally there's a process here to pick who goes first. And so I'll follow that process. And that process is I have two fingers under the table. I either have one finger up or two fingers up. You get to guess whether I have one or two fingers up, and that will determine whether you go first or second.
Better to go first or second?
Well, how many fingers do I have up under the table?
Two.
Two. I actually have one. So, Mariana, you have the choice to go first or second in this round.
Let's do first. Let's get it out of the way.
Okay, fantastic. All right, what we're going to do here is Jane is going to play the role of somebody that you want to influence in any particular fashion at all. Maybe it's a client that you want to get. Maybe it's a meeting. Maybe it's somebody that's running a charity. Maybe it's a celebrity. Maybe it's something that you want to attend. In any event, Jane is going to play the role of the person that you want to influence and get from hello to yes. You'll have 3 minutes to do that. And Sean, is your team timing this?
I'll keep the time, Frank, and just real quick for everybody. So it doesn't have to be a sale. It's anything that's a yes for you in the world. What's that look like if you have 3 minutes? Now I'm going to pre-frame something a little bit fun. Sometimes you're like, well, I don't usually operate in 3 minutes. We all operate in 3 minutes, a lot of places. In fact, many decisions that people make are made in the first 10 seconds, 5 seconds, or even 3 seconds. See Malcolm Gladwell blink of our interactions and all scientific studies cited therein. So these immediate pattern interrupts, you felt the way that Jamie came out and introduced herself. It was boom, here we are, right? Yeah. So what's the scotoma, the pattern interrupt that we have to open up listening? And the yes that we're seeking does not have to be a sale. It could simply be for a longer meeting. This is not Wolf of Wall Street. This is not Boiler Room. It's heart-centered, integrity-based influence, how we connect and accelerate forward. Frank, back to you, brother.
All right, thanks. Okay, are you ready, Mariana?
I'm ready.
Thanks, Sean. You ready, Jane? Got to unmute you.
Yeah, who's the role player going to be, Frank?
The role player is going to be Jane Powell.
I know, but who does Mariana want her to be?
Maria's going to tell us right now. Who do you want Jane to be?
All right, lovely lady. Well, I would like for you to be a CEO of a company. You have 3 homes. You love charity, and you like to help people, but you choose very wisely where to donate your money. Okay?
Got it.
All right. Take us in.
Hi, lovely Jane. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing okay. Who is this?
This is Mariana. I actually heard about you through Frank Clark, and I really wanted to share this beautiful, beautiful idea with you. And I volunteer with one of the poorest schools in Tampa, Florida. And I had this great donor donate this beautiful painting that's 8 feet by 14 feet. And it is just magical. It's the sea life. It is huge. It could go in someone's building or in your house. And I heard that you love donating to very special causes and that you also own a huge house on the water in Florida. So I wanted to know if I could share the painting and share the history of this school. It's the oldest private school for Black students in Florida?
Well, I mean, I'm good friends with Frank, but I don't know. A painting, I'd rather donate to the school probably directly. I doing arts. I rather look to do something with them and make sure the money is going directly to them than purchasing something on behalf of them. How do I see money is actually going directly to them and to the actual cause?
Okay, wonderful. Well, I think that's also a great way that we can introduce your charity funding to the school. All the monies for the purchase of this painting is going to the school, by the way. But if you want to do a direct donation, I would love to make an introduction. Maybe you can come and see the school, talk to the principal, and you could see the different ways that your monies can help these kids. They're having an open house on Saturday. I know you have a busy schedule. We're doing it Zoom since not everybody's able to connect right now during these times. And if that's something that touches your heart, would you be willing to join the Zoom conference on Saturday?
I don't really know. I have to talk to my CPA because I really set aside my charitable funds at the beginning of each year.
Okay.
Count 30 seconds to go.
Look into donating funds during the middle of the year. I'm not sure if I'll be able to add additional funds.
I actually do the same thing for my company. I pretty much budget through the entire year, so I totally understand that. So maybe not even discussing funding now, but I would love for you to be introduced to this school, and if I may send some information to you so you can consider it and maybe add it to your budget next year, I would love to do that. Would I be able to have your email?
Yes, I think that's reasonable.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you, and I really hope to meet you in person soon. Frank has talked lovely, lovely things about you.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you as well.
All righty. Thanks.
All right. Fantastic. Well done.
Hey, Frank, what'd you see there?
What I saw there was Mariana had a lot of certainty about what she was doing. I don't know that she really got into what was Jane's needs as much as she was exhibiting, what she does, which she does very well. She's very, very eloquent and very bubbly. Both of them are very bubbly, but I don't think she got to Jane's needs before she was starting to talk about what she had.
Yeah. And I would say too, I'll comment a little more later, but it's always about like what's in it for the other person. Like what's in it for the other person. But Frank, want to take it to the judges?
Yeah, okay. So Siobhan, how would you like to kick us off here as one of our judges? What did you think of Mariana?
Yeah, and Siobhan will keep it to 30 seconds with 5 seconds to go. We'll hear the buzzer, and judges, please don't be offended if I cut in and just go, hey, what's the score? Just to get that scoring scale 1 to 10, just to keep time integrity. But yeah, Siobhan, how are you? And great to see you and looking forward to seeing you this weekend. What's up?
Yep, definitely, Sean. Thanks. Mariana, I thought you had great energy. You definitely bring a great energy to your calls. I can feel that you love what you do and that you're excited about what you do. I agree with Frank that you didn't quite get to Jane and maybe what she likes to donate to, what her heart is, where her heart in charity is. And so for that, and I would give you a 7.
Excellent. And Siobhan, real quick, did you get the email about the weekend?
I did. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have your shark repellent?
I do. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Orange.
All right. I have my shark repellent too. It's called Siobhan.
I promised you that we're going to do things that are going to be crazier than jumping out of an airplane, but back to you, Frank.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thanks, Sean. All right, Howie, would you like to jump in here as one of our judges and tell us what you thought about Mariana and give her some help, some feedback? And you're muted right now.
Countdown 25 seconds.
All right. Mariana, I thought you had great energy. I thought you did a great job in selling. I think that you put that in front instead of, almost at the end, you started complimenting her and telling her what Frank had told you about her. So I think my recommendation is to let her know why you're impressed by her, give her a compliment, let her know why you're there because you heard all about her, and then get to know what her needs are, just as everyone else has said, and then go into that amazing sales pitch from there. I think that would get you off on a better a better course.
Awesome. And what'd you have for a score on a scale 1 to 10?
I would give it a 6.
Oh, all right. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thanks,
All right.
Howie.
Thanks, Howard.
Bert Carrier. Jump in here, brother, and let us know what you
Okay.
think of Mariana.
What I thought, Mariana, is that you sounded really confident and you gave off the impression that you really know what you're talking about, which I think is important when you're trying to convince somebody. You sound really competent. I also liked how when she pushed back and said that she didn't want to give money this year, didn't have money allocated for this year, you backed off with her and you didn't insist on that, because otherwise I think it would have been a little bit too high pressure, and I think that turned some people off. So I thought it was fairly effective. I'd say 7.
Thank you, Bert.
Fantastic. Thanks, Bert. And our last judge for this round, John Puntany. How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
right.
Let's see. So for Mariana, just my notes. The certainty was definitely good, and also definitely had some great energy. So I would say it, at first that wasn't exactly clear what needs were trying to be met, and what was originally the value proposition, but the flexibility was great, especially after Jane was unsure at first. So the being able to adjust on short notice is definitely pretty good. But yeah, I'd say this time 6.5, but definitely off to a good start.
All right. Thank you, John.
Yep.
Thank you, John, for that. Okay, that's our first contestant, Mariana. Now we're going to drop into Mr. Tom Stanton.
Yeah, and by the way, real quick, Mariana, thank you so much for your courage and vulnerability leading off and going first. So awesome stuff. Yes, Frank.
I appreciate that. This is a subject that's brand new to me. I can do 0 to 3 in my other businesses, so I wanted to challenge myself because I'm pitching this big, huge $60,000 painting. So thank you.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, you're presenting a $60,000. What was that?
I'm trying to sell for donation this painting, so I'm green at this. In my regular business, I could do 3 minutes like that, but I wanted to get practice on this specific, issue that I'm trying to add to this charity that I'm trying to help.
Frank, just to be quick for 1 second. So Mariana, tell me why I should care and why should I do this?
Why should you care? Because the schools.
Pause real quick for fun. So the first thing I would do always is ask a question. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody go, wow, Sean, thank you. I should ask you a quick question. Like what matters to you in the world? Like, what are you up to? I hear you see the show. Like, what are you doing? I'm kind of curious. Right. So and we'll take access later from there, is we're always opening, like listening by asking beautiful, open-ended questions with a presence of like curiosity, So
Perfect.
Awesome, Mariana. Thank you. Frank?
All right. Thanks, Mariana. And thanks, Sean, for dropping in there. All right, Tom, you ready?
Yeah, I think so. So do I, the only thing that I do every day is try to sell people patents and trademarks. So is that what I should be focusing on?
Well, if that's what you want.
I'm sorry, Frank.
I was going to say, if that's what you want to, if that's easy for you, then maybe there's something else that you want to challenge yourself and have Jane be the role player for that. If it's, in your own line of business, if you feel comfortable with that, whatever, it's up to you. Whatever, Jane will be whatever you want her to be for a role. If you want her to be like, I don't know, a film director that wants to film the escapades of Bat Tom, I don't know, traveling through Europe.
That sells itself.
Oh, yeah.
So by the way, can I ask this? Do you really sell patents?
Well, I mean, that's what it's challenged. Like, so we can't really quote unquote solicit that much, right? Like, so we're all of our marketing's generating inbound, requests, right? So then when, I'm on the phone all day with consults. So, someone has that.
My question is, what is it that you're really doing? Because
I'm selling confidence. I'm selling.
Yes. Right.
You're selling trust. I'm selling.
And a dream and a vision.
Yeah.
Like you're supporting the fulfillment. This is what I think you're doing. Supporting the fulfillment of somebody's life dream every time you're doing what you're doing for them. Because it's an idea, an invention, a place they're going aspirationally that they're probably scared to step into, even if they're really confident, successful in business and have a big company. They might, what if it's the wrong one? or for, you know, more startup entrepreneurs, right? This is like their vision and dream.
Yeah,
We're making
yeah.
dreams come true, brother. So that's my 2 cents. Doesn't have to
Yeah,
be. So
yeah.
yeah, she'll be whatever you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jane, you're going to be a startup founder of a technology company that is looking for the right attorney to partner with to help them protect their intellectual property.
Awesome.
Is that
1 minute
forward?
to go, you hear a buzzer, and then you'll hear the alarm, and in 30 seconds you hear it again. So please take us in.
All right. Hi, Jane. Thanks for your time today. Is now still a good time for us to talk?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. I know we're connected kind of through the startup community and through some different people within the venture capital world as well. My understanding is you've got a new business venture that you're starting, and you're looking to try to protect some of your intellectual property. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And how far along are you? Have you developed this software yet, or are you still in development?
We're still in development. We are at the minimum viable product right now. So we're looking at the COVID issue. And the problem with COVID is most students are having to be taught at home. And the issue is teachers only have to be on the computers for 3 hours. So that leaves a total of 5 hours a day that students aren't online with their teachers. So we're looking at creating a tutor marketplace to where we can verify the backgrounds of the tutors and create a marketplace that can utilize any video conference software that verifies the tutors, and then they can create classrooms to be able to work with the children. And then from
Gotcha.
there, they can have pods so students can actually have communications with other students so they don't have to feel so isolated. And then that will give the parents some breaks so that they can then work from home and not have their children being homeschooled directly from the parents.
Oh, that's very interesting. And it sounds like, is that something no one else is doing at this point? Is that something brand new?
That's something brand new that no one actually is doing right now.
That's interesting. And have you looked at different ways of protecting it? Are you familiar with kind of the trademarks or patents or copyrights? And have you looked into that at all?
Currently, I haven't found anyone that has copyrighted that delivery model itself.
Gotcha.
But other than that, we haven't looked very
30
far.
seconds to go.
So I want to be respectful of your time, but you know, what I would like to propose is that we set up another meeting where we kind of go into a little more detail about what you're doing, and from there we can determine what's the best way to kind of protect it. We kind of take an approach at our firm, which is really monetization and commercialization of your intellectual property. So we don't look at it as purely from a legal perspective of how do we just get you protection and then we walk away from it. We want to see how it can fit into your business and help you to monetize it, whether it's through sales and marketing, whether it's through gaining more investors, whether it's through getting additional multiples on your sale or exit. And so that's really kind of our strategy and our approach and how we try to really help startups and really help all businesses to really commercialize and monetize their intellectual property. Does that sound like a good next step for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Awesome.
Great
Well,
job. Great job, guys. Great job.
Frank, what do you got?
Well, I got that Tom was more attentive, asked questions. You know, there was a good flow conversationally back and forth. A lot of questions were asked. And, you know, who asks the most questions kind of controls the conversation, and he did a great job at that. Yeah.
I asked this head to head for Marianne and Tom. Head to head, heart or heart to heart, right? Which way more? So how?
For me, I thought there was a lot of head to head.
Yeah,
I thought there could have been more heart to heart.
Yeah, and how would you rate? You know, just to get a little bit kind of from Marianne and Tom, the amount of emotional and energetic transference. In the book Contagious, you know, we learn about the dynamic that awe, like the emotion of awe, is what sells. And the creation of awe isn't like, just watching a majestic eagle soar over the Grand Canyon. There's like pattern interrupt, like the Kermit the Frog pattern interrupt from earlier. So how much emotional, energetic transference were you seeing? And the purpose of our being here is to unlock some of these things. So how do we get into our heart is through more emotional, energetic transference. And I know, scale 1 to 10, for both these fine, amazingly courageous folks, how much emotional, energetic transference did you see, Frank?
Well, I saw a lot of emotional energy from Mariana, but it was more self-directed. So I would say the transference, though, I would have to say maybe a 6. And Tom, probably close to that too. There wasn't as much of that bonding that there could have been. They're both of them.
I am crying. You can't see that I'm crying.
I see that.
Well, thank you.
You see that I'm empathetic too, Tom, right? See how loving I am. There's some emotional convergence.
Your empathy is like oozing out of you. Like I see.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Like I can't see, but I can feel your empathy hitting the floor. No, I'm kidding. So let's get to the judges.
Okay. John, how about you start us off this time? John Putney, what do you have for Tom?
Okay. Let's see. So I guess for me, I would say definitely it was a good start with clarifying. Occasionally, it seemed like there was a bit of a struggle to speak clearly at first. And at times a good amount of questions, but at times it did take a little long to get to what it is for the value proposition, but still a good effort to make a connection. I think a little work with getting both the empathy and the connection while making the value proposition clear would probably be the one improvement. But first round, I'd say a 5, but I'm sure there's definitely potential for a good one in the next round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Tom, hold back your tears. All right. You got more? Bert.
I only have 2 eyes. I only have 2 eyes.
Okay, a couple things. One, it's hard to sell legal services, and I can empathize with this, right? Because you don't want to overpromise, and that kind of makes it tough. So I feel like when you're selling legal services, you're almost starting in a hole. You got Jane talking, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I'm not a great salesperson myself, and so she ended up talking a lot, and I don't know if that's helpful to being persuasive or not. So I'm not exactly sure if that worked or not in your case. I'd like to hear, the expert opinion on this, but I do like how you tried to set up the second meeting, how you tried to nail that down. So I think that you got the second meeting. So I think you were, in the end, persuasive. I don't think you could do much better than that. So I'm positive. I'll say 7.
Excellent.
All right. Fantastic.
Bert, just to answer that question real quick.
Yeah.
Well, your emotional and energetic transference is very strong.
Oh,
so
thank you.
You take up space, like in a congruent way, like not too much space, like in a beautiful way, like you resonate, right? Your voice resonates, your energy resonates. And so number 1, number 2, to answer the question, the depth of listening in short interactions with people and selling legal services particularly, which I've been doing for 20 years, the dynamic of listening, because people don't listen. People don't get heard. Oprah Winfrey said she held the microphone for 30,000 people because she said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. So it's like, hey, Bert, wow, that was a really astute observation. Thank you for your humility in sharing that you don't think you're a great salesperson. My speculation, though, would be that you've been quite successful because I bet people like you a lot because of your humility and how you communicate. Am I hearing you correctly? Am I experiencing you that way?
Yeah, I mean, I've been told before that I do take up space. You got a couple beers in me, and you really can see how much space I can take up.
Ripper, ready? So did you feel just seen and heard by me?
I did, yes, I did.
Yeah, right. And I'm not looking for any false positives, but does it increase just a little bit your like for me? Just that like 20-second interaction.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and so that's how we sell ourselves.
Yeah.
Likability, Robert Cialdini influence, likability skyrockets choice. Nobody makes any decision logically. I could tell a trial story about that later. In the arguably the best federal judge in a district court in America, in Arizona, was the head of Civil Procedure Rules Committee. unbelievable person. He had court rules against emotion and never smiled, but had such an emotional conclusion to our 1-month trial. That's the largest jury verdict in Arizona in the last decade, because he was emotionally involved. He would never admit it, but he was emotionally involved, never breached his integrity, but he was happy with the outcome, and you felt it. So we can talk about that later. So Frank, back to you, brother.
Fantastic. Bert, thank you. And Sean, thanks for all that insight and wisdom. Love it. All right, let's go with Howie. I didn't get you yet, right? On Tom. What do you have for Tom?
Hey, Tom, I thought you did a good job. Right off from the beginning, you were questioning. And as Sean talked about, the listening was perfect, because you could have very easily tried to jump in and sell Jane something while she was going on. She was getting into a lot of detail, but you were very patient and you just listened. And then you followed up with another question after that was, well, are you interested in copyright and protecting what you put together? And absolutely she was, because she had talked about this great thing that she had put together. And then I think the way that you closed it is you actually showed her what you could provide for her and what your firm has to offer. And I thought it would have been very, very difficult for Jane to say no, because you seemed to be hitting her hot buttons. So, so I think you did a good job. I would say I would give you an 8.
Excellent feedback. Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah, very good, Howie. Thanks very much. Tom, you still ready? Holding back more tears, brother? It's getting better.
That saved me a tissue. All right. Thank you, Howie.
Hey, Frank, yeah. This is going to be a new insertion, and this should be present for me. Never done this before when we were open. We have an entire model of communication here on Blinded, and one of the things that I would just offer to the judges, to you, Frank, to everybody, in this round, let's look for level 5 listening. Like level 5 listening. Level 1 is like, hey, Frank, what's your favorite football team?
The Patriots.
Yeah, I love the Jets, man.
Well, that's
level
why
1.
I hate the Jets.
Level 1. Right? Level negative 1, because I like the Jets, right? Here's level 2. Hey, Frank, what's your favorite football team?
You have been removed from the meeting.
The Patriots. The New England Patriots.
By the way, I should have to say this. I was in box 113A at Shea Stadium. Google that seat when the ball rolled through Bill Buckner's legs in 1986. Thank you very much. Yes, 20 feet away. So I'm sorry. Level 2 listening would be, hey, so yeah, cool. You're a Patriot fan. It's mirroring back here. Level 3. So hey, Frank, what do you love most about the Patriots?
That they're a championship team, they're a dynasty, and that they have the Patriot way, which is the will to win, no matter what.
Frank, I hear a lot of passion and love for the Patriots there, sir.
Absolutely.
Not just mirroring back, it's like an inferential step, right? And let's skip to level 5, because level 4 and 5 would be too long a nuanced conversation. So ready? Let me do level 5 to what just Frank said. Hey, Frank, I could hear that a big part of your life is New England Patriot football. And it seems to resonate just beyond fandom. It sounds like it's a part of you and sort of comports with your life philosophy. I'm not sure if I heard that, but did I hear that right?
Well, as far as life philosophy, yeah, I'm all about being driven and winning and kicking ass, taking names, and that's the Patriot way.
Awesome.
So yeah,
that's level 5 listening, and we're way, way far away from I like the Jets, right? So in this round, let's look at the depth of listening. Like, what emotional triggers do these two fine folks, right, share? Marianne and Tom, what do they share? What do they unlock? I'm sorry, with Jane, and what do they ask into? So we're looking for emotional words, right? Emotional words, body language changes, or vocal quality changes that they ask questions into. That's what drives us into deeper emotional rapport. So Frank, take it away, sir.
Fantastic. All right, thanks, Sean. We have one last judge for this round before we get into the next round. So Siobhan, that's okay, no worries. Siobhan, why don't you give some feedback to Tom, and let's do it from a level 5 listening space spot.
So Tom, great job, and thanks for being here and being vulnerable and doing this. I thought that you did a great job getting to know Jane and her business, but as you just saw Sean do, not really getting to that level 5 and getting to that why. Why does this matter to Jane? Why is it important to her, and finding out what's really driving it and her why behind it. But when you got to that and started to get into the sale, into the agreement formation, I thought you conveyed who you were very well and with confidence. And so for this round, I would give you an 8.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Thanks, Juan.
Thanks, Sean.
All right. Next round. Let's dive into it right now. Mariana, you went first last time, and Tom, you went second. Tom, I'm going to give you the choice to go first or second this time.
Oh, we go again?
Yes, you do. Oh, heck yeah.
Is it the exact same thing again?
Yes, but now you've already had your first conversation with Jane. Now you're going to have another conversation with
So
her.
now's our second meeting?
The second meeting, yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Jane. How you doing? Good. Great to see you again. Now still a good time for you to continue our conversation?
Yes, it is.
All right, perfect. Last time we spoke, you talked about, kind of the idea behind your project and what you're trying to do with the technology of helping really kind of maximize students' time during this whole COVID kind of remote virtual social distancing type scenario. Has anything changed since we last talked in terms of progress with the development, the MVP status, anything like that?
No, I still have my team working on creating a minimal viable product.
Perfect. And have you given any more thought about some of the protection mechanisms or some of the value propositions? We only got to touch on it briefly because I know we had a short time on our last call, but we talked a little bit about, whether it's how to kind of monetize the IP protection, whether it's through helping with sales and marketing, getting investors, just kind of growing the value of the business, that sort of thing. Have you had a chance to think about that at all, and what your really goals would be with in regards to that?
Well, no, I'm interested in if we can do something with being able to protect the IP of the delivery model at all. I don't know if that's possible. So I'm interested if you can tell me if that's possible.
Yeah, no, it likely could be possible. We'd have to get a little bit more in depth in terms of getting some disclosure from you and stuff like that. One thing I did want to ask you, which I just slipped my mind on our last conversation, but what kind of drove you to kind of create this idea in this project? Is there a personal experience that you went through, or is this just something you observed?
Actually, it's something that I observed. One of my CISO friends actually put all 4 of his kids in private school so that they would have to go to school because he couldn't homeschool them. And so I was like, there obviously is a need there that's missing that no one is actually doing anything about. So we searched and there's nothing out there that's helping these at-home parents.
30 seconds.
That makes sense. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So I can definitely, having kids of my own, I can definitely understand where that could be valuable and how that could really help in today's environment for sure. We spent 3 days over Labor Day weekend with them all, and we were like, we need a bigger house. So, homeschooling is even tougher on that. But what I would suggest we do is probably move to the next step of doing a patentability search. The idea behind that is we'd want to do a kind of a worldwide search to see if there's anybody else out there that might have a patent or a potential publication that could overlap with what you've invented. One interesting statistic is 95% of all patents are not in the marketplace. So, it could be out there. It could be a bar to get into your patent, but I think that would be a good first step. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So I think what we would do is follow up. I can get you over the paperwork. We could get started. It takes about 3 weeks to get that done. And we can get you a detailed report. And then we can make a decision together on what next steps we should take.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Excellent.
Outstanding. Way to go. Much more clarity that time. Definitely more emotional rapport, I thought. And, good job, both of you.
Yeah, excellent. By the way, how long did you have to do other courses after law school to move into the level of IP that you're working in?
So I'm a computer engineer. I owned an IT company before law school, and then at 35, I went back. Let's see, I just did my 3 years, but in France, I got an LLM in international economic law, and then I took the New York bar, the Florida bar, and the patent bar, all in 8 months. I don't recommend that. And I was going to move to New York, and then I ended up just starting my own firm here in Tampa back in 2017, and been cruising along since. But as far as like
You're
not official classes,
dude.
What's that?
You're one smart dude.
Oh, thanks. So I've taken a lot of like kind of like AIPLA type courses and things like that. And yeah, we just, you know, anyway, so.
That's awesome. Very impressive. And anyways, the New York bar is one of the hardest bars in the country. And taking the patent bar in New York and Florida all in that time frame is quite a remarkable achievement, sir. So it's a pleasure. Great job.
Yeah, great.
I used to be blonde. No, I'm just kidding.
He's not kidding.
I can't see your hair. I am blind. So what is his hair color? Is not blind, I'm presuming?
No, it's black. Yeah.
Black and gray.
Awesome.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. All right, we're going to introduce our next round of judges for this. Terry Watkins, what do you have for Tom on this particular round?
Tom, I think you did great, especially since I don't think you were prepared for going on to the next step necessarily in this conversation. But you did great with asking her, you know, are you still in the same spot? Which not only shows that you were actively listening in the first conversation to know what that same spot was, but she was able to even remember where she said she was in the previous conversation. So she was actively engaged as well, which is a great sign that energetically you guys are on the same page because you're picking up right where you left off as if the conversation just happened. So that's great. And I thought that even through the conversation, you were able to kind of guide her to where you wanted her to go, which is making the decision that I think it's time now to take that next step and really have that meeting where you can talk about the patent itself and what that's going to look like. So I think you did a great job.
Great. Thank you.
What'd you have for score, Terry?
I would say you have a 9 on that one.
Boom.
Wow. Outstanding. All right, moving to our next judge, Mike Adams. What do you have for Tom?
Kind of the same thing. The one thing that I did notice was that all of his questions seemed to be closed-ended. They could have very well, had she not been engaged as she was, they could have been a yes/no question for the most part. I would have liked to have seen more open-ended questions to kind of let her get to her pain points and explain a little bit more. But other than that, everything, I thought, going back to the previous one, his unique heroic identity was amazing. And just overall with this one, definitely an 8.5.
Nice. And Mike, did you, by the way, get the text from Frank about his Speedo for this weekend or no?
I did not. Now, John, were you now, if Frank's wearing one, I thought that it was reciprocity that you did as well.
Yes, that would definitely not be happening. So, but Frank, you're definitely welcome to wear the Speedo. I know you asked, and you are welcome to wear one.
Well, I thought we'd have a Borat moment there. So,
who's next, Frank?
Bill Mankini. Daniel Gray, brother, welcome, and you're our next judge. What do you have for Tom?
I actually think you did an amazing job in the close. It was a little slow starting with the confidence factor. I think that if you've made it to a second call, like you've got to be all into her. You got to be, man, it's so great to talk to you again. I've actually been thinking about your product. I've been thinking about your idea. I can't wait to show you what's next. The close though was so smooth. And it was like, here's our next steps. Let's do this together. Like you actually, like, I don't even have her product, but I want to buy something with IP. Like you got me. So I think that it was a great job, great close, and I would give it an 8.
Thank you.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, thank you, Dan.
There's no handicap for the 3-minute time crunch, I guess.
No. That's a -5. Just take all these great scores, Tom. Just -5 for the.
Story of my life.
Jamie, We can't see you anymore, Jamie. There you are.
Hi.
All right. Hi. What do you have for Tom?
So off of what, I do get that, Tom, there's a lot of, I got it, whether it was true or not, there was a lot of knowledge there. So I felt safe in your way of communicating. I felt like there was a genuine presence there because you were asking questions. I was a little bit lost with the, terminology being used. It's not my background. Other than that, I felt the genuine sense of communication.
Thank you.
And what do you have for a score, Jamie?
I would say 7.
7. And Jamie is a client of Tom, so there you go. There's a little already connection there.
Yes.
So, yes. All right. Well, thank you, Jamie, for that. Okay, Mariana, you ready to go again?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Right.
Let's drop in and pick it up where you left off with Jane. 3 minutes.
Hi, Jane. I'm so happy you took my call today. How are you?
Doing good, Mariana. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I was reading your bio in your website, and I called you because I was so impressed by your years of philanthropy. I wanted to pick your brain a little bit and how you got into it and how you make your choices, because I definitely want to step into that avenue. And so tell me a little bit about how you got into philanthropy.
Well, that's a really good question. And I also got your email with the information about the school. So we are looking into that. But, I grew up in a very small town and have done very well for myself. So I try to definitely give back, and I try to be very methodical in the way that I give back to make sure that all of my donations go directly to the areas that I give. Because if you look into a lot of places to donate to, like the World Wildlife Fund, they don't actually get very much of the money that's given to them. But places like St. Jude's get almost 97% of the funds that are given to them. So I really try to research and make sure where I'm giving my money is actually getting to the places. So I think that's really important to keep top of mind being a philanthropist.
I agree with you 100%. As a matter of fact, when I choose to work with certain charities that are looking for funding, I actually do ask for transparency in their accounting. And also, this one in particular with St. Peter Claver, their board is extremely transparent for all the funding. And they try to do pretty much 100% of it to the school that goes directly to either supplies or building structures, etc. And through the years, is there one specific charity that really touched your heart and you feel that it
30 seconds.
It really helped the people that you were donating to?
There have been quite a few, but the school systems do are. So after reading your information, I do think that that is one that I'm going to look at for next year.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, would you ever be willing in the next month to come and look at the school, meet the children and meet the staff? I would love for you to get connected with some of the people that really are helping these children.
Yes, I think that would be nice.
Wonderful. Well, go ahead. I'll go ahead and send some dates and let me know which one works for you, okay?
Okay.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Fantastic job. A lot more emotional conveyance right there. A lot more bonding right there. Great job, ladies. Everybody, great job this time around.
Yeah, Frank, the emotional energetic transference right, for all of us is critical. Like when you light up that room, it's because your energy is like everywhere. You're in like Mr. Orange, like here I am, like boom. It just resonates. It's attractive to people. You know, like think of any movie. Why do people like sports? There's energy, man. Like people want energy. So Frank, excellent. I agree. Mariana, great job.
Great job. Okay, let's roll into how Mariana did in this particular round. And let's start it off with the roller skating king from Disney. Daniel, why don't you kick us off, buddy?
Definitely. Great job. Great job. You could feel the smile over the phone call. You know what I mean? And that's a big deal. So I think you immediately put her at ease. I think that you made her more receptive to you. You also had a very good action plan for what you were going to do for her next and how you were supporting her through that conversation. I think you did a really, really good job. And I would give that an 8 as well.
Awesome. Outstanding. Good stuff. Jamie, what do you have for Mariana this time?
Yeah, I got interrupted, so I was not able to hear the whole thing.
Okay, not a problem at all. Not a problem. Yeah. We'll move to our next judge, Terry.
If I can unmute myself. I agree with Daniel on this one. Mariana, your smile came through the phone. Jane, great job reminding her this was call number 2. I thought that was a nice subtle way to kind of refocus her. And it really did help Mariana, I think, kind of pick that ball up and keep it going. I loved, Mariana, how you listened the first time with her saying that she's really selective about how she chooses where she donates. And you applied that into this conversation, asking her, what are some things that you look for? And then when she said she looks for transparency about where the funding is going, you were able to apply exactly where the funding is going for this particular fundraiser that you're working on, this painting that's being sold, and how those funds are used at the school, even going so far as inviting her to the school, I thought was a really nice touch to help connect her to what the money is being used for.
Fantastic. Thanks, Terry. That was great feedback. I picked that up too. The invitation to the school at the end, a lot stronger bond and that close. So thank you for that. Awesome. Mike, what do you have for Mariana this time?
I thought the biggest change was the emotional transference between the two of them. There was significant improvement in that. The other thing was her listening was at a much, much higher level. She picked up on the nuances and was able to expand on those and get a lot more information that she definitely didn't in the first call and absolutely slammed it in the second one. So I'm going to give her an 8.5 on that one.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, everybody, I got to just say, this was an amazing get together. It was an amazing, fun time. I learned a lot about all of you, and I certainly learned a lot more about human-based integrity influence. And I'm just going to check with everybody. Just, how was your experience? Mariana, this was your first time ever doing something like this. What was your experience like on the Real Raw Orange?
So obviously, as soon as I was told that I was going to be talking today, I got a little nervous, but immediately, focusing on the feedback, because the growth is really what, hearing what amazing people do and how to do it better, or how to better connect, or in this case, just to slow down and go and connect with feelings, which, sometimes in business, I can just be pretty black and white. So I love this experience, got to see how different people view what you say, or in this case, I had to listen better. So it was great feedback.
Well, I think you did an amazing job. And, Sean, the one that you can't see this, but Mariana's constantly moving while she's talking. She got great energy. She's moving in and out of the screen. Her hands are going. I mean, incredible energy, very infectious, and great to have you here today. So thanks for that experience. Yeah, Tom, what was your experience like, buddy? Beyond the tears.
Beyond the tears. It was cool. It was interesting. I've done somewhat similar stuff, but in a little different environments through sales training stuff. But but cool. You know, it's always different too. I think on a Zoom thing versus in person as well. I feel like so much body language and other forms of communication are kind of lost. And so, Mariana's way better at getting herself pumped up than I am, and so which is why we all love her. And so for me, it's I just have my kind of little kind of huddle through things, and people seem to like it eventually. So.
Well, I think your sense of humor is fantastic, and you're fun at laughing at yourself and self-deprecating and just making yourself more, I don't know, just more.
Well, Sean said I need to be more emotionally connected, but I'm Jewish, so I start, handicapped.
Can I ask you a quick question? Why, you're clearly working hard, doing a great job, brilliant guy. What's the vision for building the business? Where are you taking it?
So I have two potential visions. One is to ultimately, I think there's an opportunity to have a boutique IP law firm that services startups to mid-sized companies that has a national presence. There really isn't much in terms of IP focused. Most are nationally or within the big general practice firms. And so that combined with how we utilize technology, and we're very remote friendly workforce. I think it opens up a unique opportunity to kind of enter into different markets. The other thing I'm keeping an eye on is Arizona and Utah just allowed non-attorneys to invest in the owners in law firms.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, so I'm hoping / expecting that to catch on and go across. It's really the only industry left, right? Doctors, attorney, or CPAs, they all can have investors or owners that are non-licensed. So it's just a matter of time for law firms. But I've got a plan in place, hopefully, that I'd go out and raise a fund and then be able to go out and acquire some of these law firms, because I think you can get them at quite a discount. And now, if non-attorneys can buy it, you have a place you can sell it now, right? So we'll see. So
huge. Can I ask you this? So clearly a massive vision, but why? Why? Why grow? Why do all these things? What matters to you in the world?
I don't know. Why do anything if you're not going to go big, right? I mean, I don't know. Challenge myself. It's it's an opportunity to it's fun to help people. It's fun to watch people's visions come to reality. I enjoy providing a place where people hopefully enjoy working, and where I'm able to keep the food on their table. So I enjoy all of that, and it's an opportunity to kind of leave something for my kids.
Oh,
and that sort of thing.
Let's not get all emotional, brother.
Oh, that I'm not.
Tom, you're awesome, bro. I'm very impressed. But listen, don't take me to those emotional places, though. Okay, I don't want your kids.
Don't start talking about kids. Yeah.
And loving people and caring and having fun.
You're in the tree of trust. I won't take you there.
Don't take me there. Don't take
in
me
the
there.
nest. Throw you in the nest.
All I asked you is why, and all of a sudden, we're in the emotional highway, brother. Listen, everybody does everything they do for emotional reasons. Tom, brilliant. Mariana, brilliant. Mr. Armstrong Clark, great job. What's up, brother? As we take it home.
Thanks, Sean. I've done, I don't know, a dozen of these at least, and every single time I walk away with something new that I learned. And especially when you started doing that example of level 5 listening, you turned me off right away with the Jets. So, the comeback for that had to be good. But seriously, I really get a lot out of this. I love listening to the way that people hear other people and the feedback. It's based on the feedback that they give. And we had a couple of new people that have never been to any experience like this at all. Dan and Bert, Bert, just chime real quick. How was your experience here today? Because
I enjoyed it, and I agree with everything you said. It's a great opportunity to network, and I'm glad to meet you all. And this is fun. I'd like to do it again.
Fantastic. Well, I'll have you on again. Mr. Orange will be going a couple times.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you too.
And Dan, what was your experience here today, brother?
A lot of great takeaways. I love being able to watch how other people, I don't do a ton of phone calls. Most of my stuff is face-to-face. So to be able to hear how people would sell over the phone or would start those conversations gave me a way better insight of how I think I would formulate mine. So I learned a lot, and I love when minds like this come together. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for your
Indeed.
participation. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
Especially love like Disney roller skating, like marathons. Like that's some cool stuff, man.
Sean, I have unique friends. Okay, so
You
there'll
do?
always be
Love
some,
it, and you really are.
there'll be some great stories.
All right. So, you know, my final real quick is influence truly is a superpower. And the differences are not linear. They are exponential. And what I mean by exponential is if you think about income levels in the US, if you're in the 90th percentile, you're making about 100 grand, the 99th, 400 grand, 99.9, 1.7 million, 99.99, 56 million. So the more we accelerate, and most people stop like at good, but the more we accelerate past great at something, the more exponential it becomes, which is why Oprah's Oprah. You know, rock stars that are amazing and incredible that just miss and never make it out of the bar scene, like don't become Bruce Springsteen or Bono, who barely made it out themselves. So everything we're talking about, making the world a greater place, is all about us as influencers, because every one of us, every single human being is coming together to make the world a greater place. And Frank, brother, that's what we're doing here. And I am immensely grateful for your genius, your heart, your energy, that orange movement. Keep it up, brother.
Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate that. And to everybody that's been here today, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I'm sure we'll talk, we'll connect. And Sean, thanks for giving us a platform and a place to do this all at. Guys,
Frank, I need to get you a shirt that says fresh squeezed across it.
Absolutely.
And Frank, Siobhan, Mike, I will see you this weekend, and be ready. Love you all. Have a great day.
Thank you so
That would
much.
be amazing, Thomas. Please do that.